Started. So welcome to our webinar today. We're talking about stress and sleep and its relationship and what we can do to be less stressed and manage our stress and sleep better. And so I'm super pumped to talk about this because this is something I talk to my patients every day about. And it's something that I have struggled with personally, which I've done a lot of work on, and I'm happy to say that I sleep really well. And yeah, I have stress in my life like most people, and there's a lot of work that can go into managing your stress and like mindset work and nutrients and lifestyle habits. So we're gonna talk about all those things tonight. So if you have any questions, please pop them in the Q&A box because I'll try to answer them at the end of the session. And I'm going to be pretty kind of hard on the questions today, meaning if a question comes up that is not related to stress and sleep, I'm just going to have to go to the next one because sometimes questions will come up that are a little bit of a stretch, and it's just taking up time that it's just not in the right, not in the consistent topic. So we're going to try to keep it to topic tonight, but I'm happy to answer questions at the end. Okay, let's roll. First thing, someone is going to win this super cool prize pack here. There are some really great products in this giveaway tonight, and we're going to talk about all these things here. Man, that's a good prize pack. Love it. So a little bit more about me. I'm Dr. Rory Gibbons, naturopathic doctor out in British Columbia. I have been practicing, I've been practicing all over the Lower Mainland, and now I run a mostly virtual clinic where I see patients virtually. And to answer someone's question today earlier, I only see patients in British Columbia, but I am more than happy to connect with you and point you in the right direction in your area if you'd like that. You can just reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook or email me, whichever is easiest for you. And the second point there says father of 2 little boys, and it's true. I do have 2 little boys, but I have another one coming in March, which I'm we're pretty pumped about. A little bit nervous, but really more excited than anything. I really do love functional nutrition and learning on how we can use diet to optimize our biochemistry in the body. That's kind of why I was drawn to CanPrep. Like, they got awesome products. They got great nutrients in their products, got great herbs in their products. And I know how they go into the body and how they work. It's a little bit about my practice. I am a naturopathic doctor, as I said before, and so I actually combine the art of medicine with habit coaching, and I get some really great results with my patients when we start going down the route of accountability and habit coaching. And these patients get back, they get better quick. It's amazing. Like the last one there, yeah, I'm a speaker. Obviously, I'm here. I'm a husband, father, cyclist. I live in Fort Langley in BC, and if you've ever been out this way, you see cyclists every day, all day, it seems like, and on the weekend, it's just jammed with people on road bikes. And so I love that. I love to cook in the kitchen, obviously, let's be honest here. There's a lot of great Star Wars stuff happening in the movie industry, so I'm pretty pumped about that. Anyways, more on that another time. Let's talk about one other important piece. So I just want to acknowledge that I am giving this presentation on the unceded territories of the Coast Salish peoples. And I'd encourage you to find out where you live and who lived there before you did. Very interesting, and especially when we come up to the the Truth and Reconciliation Day. Thank you. This is something to understand. So let's talk about our topic at hand, stress. So let's define stress. I put down here a hot topic this year, but honestly, it's been a hot topic for the past 5 years, at least in the media, around other things. Let's define stress. So stress is how the body and brain respond to any demand that we go through, any type of challenge, performance at work or school, significant life change, traumatic event. These all can be stressful. But we have to understand that there's 2 different types of stresses: eustress and distress. So what we usually talk about is the latter, distress, which is like a negative stress, right? So distress is something that tends to stress people out. Okay. The problem here is that the energy that's put out by a stressful event like this is excessive and unusable in the situation. Okay, eustress, on the other hand, is a positive stress, and the energy provided there is proportionate to what is needed in the situation. Okay, that's a really interesting differentiation. So let's break down like a little bit further. Macro stresses and micro stresses. Macro stresses are those large things in your life. So financial stress or work stress or being in a toxic relationship, or it's not even a toxic relationship. Sorry, I take that back. Being in any relationship that can be stressful, right? And then micro stresses are the small things like, let's see, the coffee maker not working, or traffic, or someone taking your stapler at work all the time. Those are like little stresses that add up, and then sometimes those are the things that make people just burn out. Okay, so the straw that breaks the camel's back. Okay, we're also going to talk about insomnia tonight, and this is a staggering statistic for me. Okay, roughly 40% of Canadians experience insomnia as a symptom at any given time. Okay, we're going to break down what insomnia actually is later, but basically, I'll just tell you right now, it's a challenge getting to sleep or staying asleep. Okay, for a certain amount of time, and then chronic insomnia is that for longer than 3 months. 40% experience some sort of insomnia. Okay, that's almost 1 out of 2 people. However, approximately 10%, or about 3.5 million Canadians, suffer from diagnostic levels of chronic insomnia, like I was saying before. Even though it's just 10%, it's like, okay, whatever, 10%. But that's 3.5 million people. Okay. Extrapolate that to North America, we're talking about like over 20 million people. Amazing. Or more undiagnosed. So we went from stress to sleep to stress again. So let's talk about stress a little bit more here and the hormones affected by it. Fight or flight, everyone's kind of heard that, and some have heard rest and digest. These are another term for sympathetic and parasympathetic. Fight or flight is sympathetic, rest and digest is parasympathetic. Inherently, we are supposed to be in a rest and digest nervous state, inherently as humans. Isn't that wild? However, we are pedal to the metal, which makes us get into the fight or flight state. And that allows, or it tells our body, it tells our brain to secrete hormones and neurotransmitters called epinephrine, norepinephrine, and cortisol, causes them to be released and causes the physiological effects. So over time, this is where we see disease states come up. Okay, short-term stress versus long-term stress. Yeah, so short-term stress would be something like you're driving along, and someone cuts you off, and it goes, oh my gosh, like your blood pressure goes up and your nervous system goes wild, and you're jittery and shaking, and that's a really short-term acute stress. Okay, that is like sympathetic dominant, right? However, we as a society, we've kind of adopted this long-term stress state where we're not there all the time, but we're kind of in the middle. We're at this like elevated level of stress for 8 hours a day, sometimes maybe longer. And then we do that over and over again for years and years and years. And that can lead to different diseases. Okay. Cortisol and melatonin, this is a really wonderful connection. Okay. So cortisol is high in the morning, low in the morning. And I say this in quotation marks because it's not the same for everybody, right? So cortisol is supposed to be high in the morning, and it's supposed to be low in the morning or low in the afternoon or in the evening to help us sleep, right? However, we work late. We have children that stress us out sometimes, and we have evening activities, and we have movies that are stimulating that we watch at 11 o'clock in the evening. Those things are going to bring that cortisol level up for longer. Okay, and then melatonin doesn't come on board very well. It's supposed to come up in the evening and go down in the morning. Okay. However, cortisol tells melatonin to come down. It's an inverse relationship. So you can imagine if someone is tired and wired, where you're lying in bed and your mind is going a million miles a minute, this is cortisol being a little bit more dominant than way more dominant than melatonin. And melatonin is not doing its job. Here's a cool little diagram. Call it flow chart. So here's your stressor down here, someone cutting you off, for instance, in traffic, and that's going to activate two things. Okay, your central nervous system, which is your sympathetic nervous system, and epinephrine and norepinephrine. Okay, this is your central nervous system over here on the right, and over here is something called the HPA axis, and that is your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. So it's telling your adrenal glands to pump out cortisol. Okay, that's what it's supposed to do, right? That's what these things are both supposed to do, that thing. So under a stress, we are supposed to increase blood viscosity, increase heart rate, increase blood pressure, this is a protective mechanism. Same with over here. Okay, it's telling us you need to run away, or you need to fight, or you need to, yeah. So that is this is supposed to happen. However, it happens more often and for longer. Okay, and we go up here, increase blood pressure. That can create cardiovascular disease, suppresses the immune system, it leaves us more susceptible to infections. So over time, thinking like, oh yeah, I've been like working super hard, and then I go on holiday, bam, I get sick. Alters behavior. All right, so our mood, like it can make us more make us more anxious or nervous, or we can make it more depressed or sad, right? And then also here, it increases blood glucose over time. All right, this can lead to other metabolic type issues like diabetes, for instance, and high cholesterol or high triglycerides. Put these two together, increase blood pressure and increase blood glucose, that you have metabolic disease, and then you add in weight loss, weight gain as well. So what does this have to do with sleep? Okay, well, let's take a look. More like mood and cortisol related, okay? So here are some words that kind of come with stress, right? Like irritable, depressed, apathetic, you don't really care anymore. That can make people mad, lonely, frustrated, nervous, explosive. So you can imagine like these feelings, these emotions can definitely take a toll on your sleep. Like if you had a really frustrating day at work, for instance, and you are mad and you haven't processed that, or you haven't worked through that, yeah, it's going to have a problem. Now it's going to have an effect on your sleep, right? These ones too, explosive and aggressive, like these people are not sleeping for sure. And these like lower level ones here, I find that these are more chronic. And when people feel like this, they are more likely to go to some sort of product to improve their mood in order to help them sleep. Okay. These ones, all of these ones, if someone comes to me with these feelings, I'm recommending a counselor. All right. Closer look at how stress affects the body. A little bit closer than what we just talked about. So we got a distress over time. Oops, sorry guys. Distress over time. Again, negative stress, and we have sleep disturbance, which leads to mood changes, which can lead to relationship changes, which can lead to anxiety and depression / emotional trauma. Right? That can cause sleep disturbance for sure. Distress can burn through vitamins and minerals, namely magnesium, melatonin, B vitamins, okay? When we do not have those things, we can develop mood disorders like anxiety and depression, right? And we'll see later, there's some products that we can really use to boost up those Bs or those nutrients. Exercise intolerance. This is a vicious cycle, okay? When people are stressed out, they usually are more tired, and then they're not able to exercise, but then also they're more tired and their mood changes and they don't sleep very well, which makes them more tired and they can't exercise. So getting out of that cycle is really important. And we can use different nutrients and herbs to get that done. right? And in my case, in my practice, I use a lot of accountability here. And I have patients that talk to me between visits. And they message me through a confidential app. It's my coaching program. And they talk to me throughout the month. And I set up goals with them and I keep them accountable to what their goals are, which are usually improving exercise and losing some weight. Digestive disturbances definitely come from a prolonged period of stress. And hormone changes, yeah, for sure. I mean, we're pumping out cortisol, which is taking priority over our other hormones. So for women, progesterone production and estrogen production are changed. Okay. And if for men, testosterone production is changed when we have chronic stress. Let's talk about the foundations. If we don't have any foundations of health in our life, taking supplements is not going to work as well. Okay. So let's get these things down first. Man, if you do these things, gosh, you will feel so good and you'll probably sleep better too. Okay. Nature time. This is wonderful. Getting outside, just getting outside in trees, and in by plants and by getting some fresh air has been shown to improve cortisol levels, to improve blood pressure, to improve markers of wellness. I know in Ontario, I gave this presentation, I gave something similar to this for you guys out in Ontario during the winter. And I was like, yeah, just go outside and go and walk through some trees. And they're like, it's minus 25, minus 30. Like, yeah, it's fair. So that's tricky. Got kind of caught up being in Vancouver there. Breathing exercises. So typically I see people not breathing in a way to support their nervous system. So we often breathe into our chest. We're like in upper chest here. If we can just take a moment and just breathe deeper into the belly, let the belly push out, okay? That is deep breathing, and that is activating the vagus nerve, which is activating, the parasympathetic nervous system, bringing us into a more calming state. Don't be surprised if you start yawning, okay? Something called box breathing, where you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, and you do that 4 times around. That'll get you, that's hard once you do that. Physical activity. Yeah, every single one of my patients, that's one of my prescriptions is being more physical if they are not. Even starting with 10-minute walks after lunchtime to help that insulin and help that blood glucose. But trying to think of ways to get yourself moving more frequently. So something as simple as parking in one of the farther spots in Costco. Okay, I know Costco is huge and the parking lot's usually pretty huge too. So parking a spot that's far away gets a little bit more steps in there and gets your heart rate up, especially when you're pushing your cart back. I just bring this up because I was there the other day. That's one option. If you're going into a multi-story building, try the stairs instead of the elevator. The next one here, one more touch on physical activity. Resistance training is a must. Like if you are not resistance training, let's start. Man, anyone can start resistance training with a band, with a milk container or a can of soup. Like you can do some body weight squats to your chair, do some chair push or do some like counter push-ups, wall push-ups, those kind of things. Ideally, number one, work with a personal trainer if you can. Okay, digital data intake and screen time. I feel like we just are in front of screens so much. Like I'm in front of screen right now. You are too. You're watching me, which I appreciate. And what I don't want to see is people going from the screen to their phones, right? And going to their phones and checking and doom scrolling is a term. Doom scrolling for a while and then hanging out with family, okay? Change that around. Hang out with family, hang out with loved ones first. Enjoy that time, because honestly, like the doom scroll will be there later, and it's just not serving us. To add to that, There is stuff that you're going to see in your phone, on your social media platforms, in the news, that are going to flare your nervous system up and push it into a state of sympathetic function, right? That is not going to serve our sleep time, our sleeping quality. Sometimes it can be so triggering that it's the same as if you're in a fight. Okay. Here's some other things. Journaling, something that I've always struggled with, honestly. But some things that I have done to help that is to just write down a few words for the day, just to reflect, have it, scribble them down in a journal next to your bed. Some emotions that come up, that is enough to start putting your mind at ease. Intentional thinking, I put this one down instead of meditation because some people don't really like meditation, which is fair. I think it's kind of weird, but there is some amazing research on meditation and its effect on our central nervous system and chronic disease. It's amazing. Also, for those people that are stressed out, this can be a really great way of changing mindset. That's a whole nother presentation, maybe for another day. Talking to a friend, getting things off of your chest to someone that will listen, and not respond right away. People are sometimes hard to come by. It's really therapeutic to speak your mind into an area to someone that is not going to judge you, but also is going to just reflect and say, like, that sounds hard. And lastly, do something that brings you joy. For me, it's playing Lego, usually by myself. I do play Lego with my son, but I'd rather just play by myself sometimes. It's fun, and it brings me back. Dietary stuff. These are some really like useful tips as far as sleep goes. So remember, we're keeping the focus on sleep and stress. Sugar. This is something that is going to push you into a sympathetic nervous functioning. Okay, we want to, like, sugar is just not helping our ability to sleep, but it's also not supporting our ability to deal with stress. Okay, caffeine. Some people are really sensitive and they can't have anything after noon. If you're that person, don't have any caffeine after noon. Okay, this includes chocolate sometimes. Right. Some people are like, I can drink coffee at 9 o'clock and I can still go to bed. I'm going to challenge you on that. And I would love to see your sleep statistics after you do that compared to days that you do not do that. Like, I'm talking like deep sleep, REM sleep, those kind of statistics. Eating late and eating too fast. So eating late can really, it'll make you sleepy, but also the quality of sleep will be a bit off. Okay. Eating too fast, leading to indigestion, leading to it being uncomfortable. All right. So next time, like, Thanksgiving's coming up here, guys. So, keep these in mind. maybe just like slow down the eating and take that opportunity to talk to family members and friends at Thanksgiving. I just want to add one more thing: eating large meals. Okay. Typically, when we're eating large meals, that means we are eating like rich meals too. Those things can lead to indigestion and slower digestion. It can just kind of throw our sleep off. Let's start with an awesome product here called Adrenal Chill. So Adrenal Chill has two wonderful ingredients. First one is KSM 66 ashwagandha. And this is an ashwagandha that has been really, really well studied and developed over like 16 years-ish, 14, 15, 16 years. I can't remember, but around, call it 16 years to develop. And it is one of the most researched ashwagandha strains and products on the market. We see an incredible drop in cortisol after 8 weeks of 22%. Okay. It preserves vitamin C in the adrenal glands. It reduces stress by about 33%. This was another study. And then another study said anxiety showed an 88% reduction in anxiety symptoms. 88% reduction with just that KSM 66. So I really like this one, if you can imagine. I like this one also because there's so much it's just it's really straightforward. Every time you see something like KSM 66 on a bottle, you're like, oh, that's a good ashwagandha. Other products out there will have ashwagandha label on the label, but you're like, is this a root extract or is this a leaf? And like, how is it developed and how is it produced? It also has L-theanine in there. L-theanine is something that I use as needed with patients too. You can use it as needed, but on the go. As needed, but also every day if you want. It is a calming amino acid, and it induces this like calm Zen state, as if you were in a yoga session, for instance. Not going to put you to sleep, no, but it'll just bring you into an alpha wave state and calming mode. And so this is something I recommend to my patients that do online presentations or presentations in person, or they have to, if they're going into a stressful week with like a family trip or something like that, or a conference. I wrote down there, formulated to help the tired and wired. So this I mentioned earlier, the tired and wired being like lying in bed and not being able to fall asleep. So many people are dealing with this. So this one, L-theanine, take this about 30 to 60 minutes before your presentation or before your stressful event. If you're taking it as needed, and if you're taking it for bedtime, like it'll help you sleep. So actually, one thing I wanted to actually add to ashwagandha was that it helps to retrain the diurnal cortisol rhythm of the day, high in the morning, low in the evening. Okay, if you are going to work on your sleep, we have to work on your wake time. So if we can retrain the cortisol system and the cortisol secretion, then your sleep should get better. Adrenal Pro is another adrenal product by CanPrev. This is the first one I ever tried as a naturopathic student. See, it says chronically tired and who needs a mental pick-me-up. That was me. Shocker, right? When I was a naturopathic student, it was crazy. So there's a lot of stuff in this product. Some things I want to highlight. The L-tyrosine is a direct precursor to epinephrine and norepinephrine, okay? and thyroid hormone. Yes. So that's a really good amino acid to have. You can take this as needed, but I was taking it every day, and people who are chronically tired, let's take it every day. So far I haven't had any issues with people taking it and not getting to sleep. However, I would say just be mindful of how late in the day you take it. Maybe like make 2 o'clock the cutoff. It has some other awesome ingredients like the KSM 66 ashwagandha, but the rhodiola is really cool in there because it's working in the brain to allow us to use the epinephrine and norepinephrine again. It has schizandra in there, which is a wonderful, very cool herb, and it's a very well-rounded herb. It helps support your body in a very holistic way. And the Siberian ginseng is one of the more stimulating ginseng, so it's there for a pick-me-up, right? 1 cap twice a day, first thing in the morning, first thing in the afternoon, or take it with lunch. All right, Synergy B. Remember we mentioned earlier about B vitamins, and so B vitamins are getting crunched through in times of stress. Okay, this one actually has L-theanine in it, which is really wonderful because it's like bringing you out of that stressful state and then supporting your ability to deal with the stress itself. So that's cool. It's formulated to support everything in the body, from nervous and immune system, relieve stress and boost cognitive performance. Bs are something that I include in most people's treatment plans, and they're very safe to take when you're not seeing a naturopathic doctor as well. One pro tip, take it with food. It's that Bs, when they hit the stomach lining, it's just not very comfortable sometimes. All righty, let's keep moving. Synergy B is a good one. I like that one. I think it's the L-theanine that really does it for me. Magnesium. All right, so magnesium bisglycinate is the magnesium that I recommend most of the time. So most magnesium supplements are not created equal. This doesn't mean one is worse than the other. They just do different things. Okay, so as you can see here, this is an absorption rate, okay? So magnesium bisglycinate, chelate, and buffered magnesium bisglycinate, these two are highly absorbed and utilized, right? So then we go down the list here, we got magnesium malate. Yeah, that is absorbed as pretty well. And then we go have a little drop and we see the magnesium citrate and magnesium oxide. So these ones, as you can think like, oh, they're not really absorbed very well. Well, then why would we take them? People that are dealing with constipation issues, these can be very helpful. Magnesium citrate, sit for sitting down on the toilet. That's how I remember it. That can be really, really helpful. Magnesium oxide, I think the milk of magnesia is magnesium oxide. I like to use magnesium bisglycinate in my patients that have constipation, they have trouble going to the bathroom, but they're having a bowel movement every day. So they don't really need an osmotic laxative, like a water type laxative. They need like a relaxative. Is that a word? A relaxation laxative, where the magnesium is coming in and it is going to the muscles of the colon and relaxing the colon. Not to the point where they're just losing control, but they're just relaxing them and allowing them to do their job. Vital to our body. It has like 800 enzymatic reactions in the body. It's incredible. Magnesium bisglycinate 200 is the one I usually go with, but CanPrev has a whole bunch of magnesiums that are available. We're going to talk about, I think, magnesium sleep in a minute, but these ones are great. Like, as you can see, common symptoms relieved, inability to sleep. I give this magnesium to like everyone that has sleep problems but haven't tried anything yet. Sometimes taking some magnesium is all you need. It puts you into, it calms your central nervous system down and allows GABA to do its job. And GABA is there to help with the deep cycle of sleep. So as you can imagine, I put GABA and magnesium together often and it really works. Headaches and or migraines, that's a really great segue. I have some powdered magnesium that I'm taking right now. It's delicious. It's mixed berry flavored. It's wonderful. You get your water in there, but you also get a good dose of magnesium. And so if you have a little bit of a headache or you have some neck tightness from sitting at the computer all day, this is a really great thing to take. Dosage here, 200 milligrams per day. I dose up to two caps in the evening for my patients that are having issues, and if they have any digestive problems, then we'll dial it back a bit. Go to magnesium.ca for more information. They have like a magnesium primer PDF that you can download. It's rad. It has so many cool graphics in it and so much like information. It'll make you just want to take magnesium for the rest of your life. Which I wouldn't be like opposed to because it's a really wonderful mineral. Let's talk about healthy mood. This is a really, really cool product because it has saffron in it. And it's the saffron, when I learned about this, I didn't really realize like the rigorous grading that goes for saffron. And so saffron that we use at CanPrev is put through something called the Sargol, is something called a Sargol grade saffron, which is like the top of the line saffron. And see this down here, this is where the ingredients in the product come from. It's from the stigma of the plant. And so there's no picture here, but if you Google like saffron plant, you'll see these little red things that come out of the middle of the flower. It's a really beautiful flower. You can just see like it's so red and so vibrant. That to me just says like this is a powerful plant. This saffron has gone through a lot of clinical trials, and it's been shown to be as helpful as some of the leading pharmaceuticals on the market. Okay. If you are planning to use this, use it with the guidance of a naturopathic doctor or your GP. Okay. I don't want you to be like, I'm going to drop my medications and use this. All right. There's more to it than that. In this product here, there's GABA, there's 5-HTP, there's active folate, there's magnesium and zinc. So it's a really well-rounded product that's going to support your mood. Okay, this is more like a serotonin a serotonin supporting combination. Okay. Then they also have GABA in there that helps to calm the nervous system down as well. 5-HTP is a serotonin, a precursor to making serotonin hormone or neurotransmitter. Good stuff in this product for sure. So let's talk about sleep a little bit. So what does insomnia actually mean? So I alluded to it at the beginning, difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep for at least 3 nights per week. How many people right now are just being like, oh, yep, me. 2 participants, yep. 2 people, yeah, right, out of 148, I think there's more. Yeah, right, 5, yeah, the numbers is going up. At least 3 nights per week. It sounds like you're having some problems staying asleep or falling asleep, okay? There's things that we can do to help this. Absolutely. So let's talk about chronic insomnia. That occurs when you have trouble getting to sleep or staying asleep 3 nights per week for 3 months or longer. Okay, this has probably been going on for years for some people. And they just go, well, it just takes me a long time to go to sleep. Well, why don't we do something about it? Why don't we try to get you sleeping better? There's so many things. What does it mean to be sleep deprived? This term is really thrown around a lot in parenthood. I see a lot of dads, and my wife sees a lot of new moms. So new dads and new moms, that's what we often see in our practice. And they say, like, I'm so sleep deprived. I'm like, okay, like that's an actual name. So this means excessive daytime sleepiness, daytime impairment. Okay, you're having trouble driving, or you're having trouble operating your machine, or you're having trouble like talking to patients. You're having mood changes. You have less physical strength. Okay, less physical strength. That's a really big indicator here that something's off. You have a less ability to fight off infections. Okay, that's a little bit scary. Okay, tendency to doze off while doing inactive activity. So you're like inactive, like sitting on the couch watching TV, like sitting reading a story to your child. You're less productive overall. Okay, that's another piece of the sleep deprived definition. I can empathize with these things for sure. Sleep hygiene tips. This is where we start. We got to get these down first before we start taking a bunch of supplements. Okay. Phones off out of the bedroom. This is something really hard for people because we often use our phones for alarms. Okay. But the temptation is there. It's like, oh, I can't sleep, so I'll just scroll Instagram until I'm sleepy. Okay, well, sorry, there's a couple things that are not playing in your favor there. Okay, the light from your phone is going in and telling your brain that it's daytime, and it's suppressing your melatonin. Okay, you will fall asleep if you're excessively tired, but I'm telling you, this is over time. This is not working for you. The idea that blue light changes your hormone levels is true, but it's also any light will change your hormone levels, your melatonin levels. So get your phones off, take them out of the bedroom, plug them in outside your door or something, and then set your alarm there loud enough so you can hear it. So you have to get out of bed, walk up through your room, and open the door. That'll wake you up for sure. Having blackout blinds in your room, keeping your room as dark as possible. There's research around the darkness of the room and its impact on sleep. Okay. People devote their lives to studying this stuff. Making sure the room is quiet. So using a sound machine, even though that's not quiet, it's consistent. So that can be really helpful. I just, before we go on, I see a bunch of like chat notifications. So if those are questions, like you need to move them into the Q&A box, please. Making sure your room is cool and not really hot. Okay. Nighttime routine. So being consistent in the evening, going and dimming the lights before you go to bed, right? Like hours before. And so a lot of people don't have dimmers in their house, which is understandable. So my suggestion here is turning off all the lights that you don't need on. Right? Like if you're in the kitchen, yeah, leave the kitchen lights on, but you don't need the living room lights on. You don't need the dining room lights on. You don't need the bathroom lights on. Like, let's do our part and conserve energy, but also bring the number of light bulbs on off. Avoid stimulants in large meals. Talked about this a little bit earlier. So stimulants obviously are going to stimulate your central nervous system to be more on the sympathetic end versus the rest and digest end. Right? We want to go to the rest and digest. So watching, if you're going to watch TV, watching like a non-stimulating show, or not watching TV at all would be ideal. Reading a book, playing a game, those kind of activities. Large meals too, obviously. We were talking about that as far as like how that can contribute to indigestion. Be consistent with bedtime. Yeah, the best way to reset your cortisol curve is to go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. That's one of the best things you can do. And exercise, just in general, being physically active, these people will sleep better. Okay. Some things I want to touch on. How much sleep is enough? Yeah, so this is a really great question. So different resources say different things, but they all kind of land around the at least 7 hours mark. Okay, so teens should sleep 8 to 10 hours, elementary school aged kids around 9 to 12 hours, and preschoolers around 10 to 13 hours. Or in my case, my kids, doesn't matter, they just wake up at 6. So, but yeah, those are some of the guidelines that I go by with my patients in my practice. So trying to get like at least 7 and working around, if they can get up to 8, great. Personally, I track my sleep, and the best sleeps that I have when I wake up, and my watch tells me that like, yeah, you're ready to go. You had a good sleep. It's about 7.5 hours for me. Some people say stuff like, I just feel fine on 5 to 6 hours a night. Yeah, it's totally fine. And so, sure, okay, once I start asking some more questions, I'm going to challenge them on things like, how's your immune system? How's your mood? How's your adaptation to stress? Like, are you happy with your body weight and your body composition? Most people can probably benefit from more than 5 to 6. The other thing is like, oh, I sleep like a log. I take 15 milligrams of melatonin at night, past 20 years. Like, oh, 20 years taking 15 milligrams of melatonin? Why aren't you sleeping? Like, yeah, that'll do it. But why aren't you sleeping? Chronic stress usually is the case. So sleep restore. So what does it do? It helps relieve stress that contributes to sleeplessness. Okay. This is, again, ashwagandha for the win. Calms the nervous system down with that GABA and the L-theanine. It reduces the stress hormones, and it improves the duration of sleep and quality. And then, so that comes from the passion flower, the lemon balm, and the chamomile, right? Those are some really great sedative type herbs and calming type herbs. I love those ones, man. Lemon balm, it smells super good, especially in the, like before you have it in, obviously, in capsule form. My mom and dad's house, it grew everywhere. It wasn't the worst thing. It smelled pretty good. 2 caps 30 to 60 minutes before bed works really well. If you're, talk to your doctor about that one for sure. The sensoral ashwagandha, let's talk about that for a second. And you notice in this formula, there's no melatonin. So instead of the melatonin, we use this ashwagandha. It's called sensoral ashwagandha instead of KSM 66. It's a combination of the root and the leaf, right? So modern research shows that it helps you fall asleep faster and spend more time asleep and experience better quality sleep. All things that we need. Falling asleep quickly, spending more time asleep, and having better sleep when we are asleep. Next one here. Cha-ching. Sleep reset with melatonin. So this is a great one for people that are dealing with jet lag or shift work, those kind of things. It's helping to reset the circadian rhythm after it's been kind of messed up. Okay. So, and it soothes mental stress too. It's got some really great ones, really great nutrients, again, like GABA and L-theanine, soothing that central nervous system. And then it has those sedative herbs like passion flower, lemon balm, skullcap, and valerian. I really like these ones. These are really good products, man. So imagine if you took this one plus magnesium that would be a pretty dynamite combo. So that's something that I've used in the past, and it just helps people really restore after their sleep. Just making sure I didn't miss anything. Oh yeah, one really important thing that I wanted to talk about was 5-HTP. And as you can see here that in this product and this product, there's no 5-HTP. So 5-HTP is something commonly used in sleep. However, these don't have it. And I like that because so many people are on antidepressant medications that are helping to improve serotonin production. So when you combine 5-HTP and combine HTP and anti-anxiety and antidepressant medications, there is a theoretical interaction there that can be really uncomfortable. And so these ones are great because they are a different mechanism at helping you go to sleep. Okay, it's not interacting with your medications. That being said, if you are on antidepressant medications or anti-anxiety medications, please talk to your naturopathic doctor or your GP before taking these things, okay? Just to be safe. Like, we don't want to go down that route. Man, we talked about some sweet stuff tonight. I love this. So summary, we talked about stress pathways, states and hormones involved with those things. We connected the dots between stress and sleep disturbances. We talked about some really foundational lifestyle and dietary things. And we talked about some well-rounded nutrients and products to support our sleep and lower our stress levels. So what's one thing you're going to do for yourself later after this webinar? That's my question. The question to you is, what are you going to do for yourself? Or what are you going to do tonight to support your sleep? If you have some chamomile tea in the cupboard, maybe you should take some of that. Let's answer some questions. Thank you so much for listening. I'm going to open up the Q&A box. Dun, dun, dun. All right, first question. Is adrenal chill okay to take with anxiety and blood pressure medications? Yeah, that's a good question. So it depends on what the anti-anxiety medication is and what the blood pressure medication is and how high your blood pressure is. So please talk to your doctor about that. What's the best time to take ashwagandha, morning or before sleep? I would say morning. Yeah, take it in the morning and take it at noon, and that is going to help. It's going to help restore that cortisol rhythm. I find people are more consistent with those times of taking supplements anyways. Cheryl asks, what time would you take the adrenal chill / pro? So adrenal chill, you can take that anytime. It's not going to upset your sleep. But usually I'm telling people take it first thing in the morning and at noon for both of those products. Again, looking at the cortisol curve. I have allergies to vitamin B's. They make me agitated like drinking too much coffee. Is it because they are derived from yeasts? That's something I don't know. I have allergies to vitamin B's, probably in their concentrated forms. I don't know what to tell you on that one. Sometimes people's nervous systems are just more sensitive than others. In this case, maybe there is some sort of metabolism in the liver happening that's making you more agitated. Are they derived from yeasts? Maybe. I don't actually know where these ones are derived from. But if they are B vitamins and they are not yeast, right? Do you have any tips on nighttime bladder control? Once awake, difficult to get back to sleep. Yeah, so bladder control well, depends on what's going on in the bladder. But my first thought here is, like, minimize your water intake in the afternoon and the evening. Front load your day. front load your day with your fluid intake. Try that first, and then use therapeutic nutrients like magnesium, like GABA. And so they're not going to keep you asleep if you have to get up, but it will help you get back to sleep. Talk to your doctor about that though, please. Karen asks, I take L-theanine at night to help with my sleep. Good. I have Meniere's disease and I have to watch my caffeine levels. Okay. How much caffeine is too much with MD? I don't know what that, oh, with Meniere's disease. I don't know. I don't know. But I would say make it like 200 milligrams of caffeine, like your max, I would say. I don't have any other forms with the exception of the occasional chocolate. 200 milligrams is like one coffee. How long before bed is recommended to stay off the phone? I would say 2 to 3 hours if you can. But if you can do, if you all you can do is an hour, then do an hour. I heard that broken sleep at certain hours mean different things. I wake up between 1 and 4 every night and then fall back to sleep. I feel exhausted. Yes, this is a very, very interesting topic. So waking up between 1 and 3 or 2 and 3-ish. I can't go too far into this, but this is generally associated with chronic stress. Okay. So in the world of traditional Chinese medicine, the traditional Chinese medicine organs are correlated with times of the night. Okay. The liver is the governor of stress. Okay. And the stress is correlated with 2 to 3 a.m. in the morning. I find when my people are chronically stressed out and they are waking up at night, it's between 2 and 3. I can almost call it every single time. Okay. As it's strange, it sounds strange, but it happens and I see it. Hi there. I go to bed at 11 p.m. and wake up at 2. I have good sleep hygiene. I take 200 milligrams. I have tried melatonin, L-theanine, and Relora. Nothing works. Any suggestions? Yeah, something's happening during the day. So something's happening during the day. And like what I said, you're waking up at 2 o'clock. There is something that is flaring your nervous system up to cause you to wake up again. Okay. You are doing all the right things. There's something missing though. So this maybe the answer may not be more supplements. Okay. The answer, we have to look at the rest of your day, such as, are you exercising and when? So in your case, exercise in the morning. What are you eating? Are you eating, are you eating stimulating type foods like caffeine and chocolate and sugar? Even if it's a little thing, I have a feeling that this person is pretty in tune to that. But what else you could do is work with a sleep coach. There's someone out your area. Her name is Dr. Leah Saunders, and I highly recommend talking to her. She loves treating sleep, and she's really good at it. I'd say come to me, but I'm in BC. But you've tried some really great stuff. Yeah. Why is chamomile tea always recommended instead of pills? Tea makes you pee at night, and therefore, yeah, I know, right? Kind of counterproductive. I mean, for therapeutically, and like chamomile tea has a sedative property, or chamomile plant has sedative properties. I would say that it's not always recommended. It's just commonly recommended. Like if I'm going to tell some or give someone suggestions for sleep, chamomile tea is not always my first go-to. Okay, because I don't want people to wake up and pee. However, if it doesn't make you pee at night, then great. The capsules are helpful because they don't make you pee. So that's good. I guess I didn't need to say that part. The reason why chamomile is it has some sedative properties. That's why it's usually recommended. Doesn't vitamin Bs give you more energy? Are they not to be taken in the morning? Yes, take them in the morning. Started taking adrenal pro 5 days ago and noticed liver pain. Is there something I can take to minimize the pain since I see the benefits of taking adrenal? That one, I can't really answer that one. I mean, liver pain, I don't know about liver pain. That's interesting. And I don't think like a really rule of thumb, don't palliate something in order to use something else. Okay. Stop using it if you're getting pain, if you feel like that's correlated, and then seek help otherwise. LC says 100%. Thank you. And Marcia says, I understand. Hey, Madeline says, inositol 500 milligram helps me fall asleep, but I usually wake up in about 3 hours afterwards. Okay. Right. I don't know what the question is there. I understand ashwagandha should not be taken by people with thyroid issues taking medication. I haven't heard that before. That being said, I don't often work with people with thyroid issues, so it hasn't come up before for me. So that's something you need to talk to your GP or your naturopathic doctor about. The inositol, I just remembered the inositol, that can, I don't have much experience with inositol, honestly. That's more of a product that my wife will use with her fertility patients. Kind of helps with ovulation, helps with stress and anxiety too. I don't know why you're waking up. So I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't really have much answer for that one, Madeline. All right. So we're coming up to the end of the hour here. I'm just going into any other questions there. Just scrolling through the chat boxes in case someone asked, like, what's the safest length? What's the safest length to take melatonin? I'd say like the long-term effects of melatonin are cloudy. Okay, and so if you can take something else long-term, then take that. Susan says, I took magnesium a long time ago and ended up having a lot of Charlie horse muscle cramps. I stopped when I stopped magnesium. Was there possibly imbalance with another mineral? Yeah, that's not a common, like that's not a common effect. Usually it's a calming effect, if anything. So there could be another imbalance with another mineral. I don't know. You could try maybe a different type of magnesium, like this glycinate this time around. Maybe you had a different type of magnesium that was not working for you. I'm sorry to hear that. All right, I'm coming up to the end of the thing here. Any suggestion for people with sleep apnea beside the breathing machine? Yeah, it depends on the person, Madeline. If someone has sleep apnea and they have lots of, they have to have excess weight, then we need to lose weight. Yeah, there's lots of other things that we can talk about there, but I have to go now. It was so wonderful to talk to you guys, and the person that wins the product draw will be contacted. Thank you so much. If you want to give me a follow on Instagram, that'd be awesome. Give CanPrev a follow, and if you have any questions, like, please reach out. I'm more than happy to help or direct you. And this is where you can find me. Instagram is easy. Facebook also easy. Send me a DM and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. So thank you very much. Thank you for saying thank you. Oh, last thing. Anna says, please repeat the name of the sleep doctor, Dr. Leah Saunders. Tell her I sent you. You might not get a discount or anything, but she's awesome. And she is in Uxbridge, Ontario. No idea where that is. Uxbridge, Christina. All right, you guys. Have a good night. Bye.
Great stuff.
Oh no, did it end? End.
Yeah.